there was dust, there was mud, there was action in the Land Rover Barberspan 1000 recently. Sit back and enjoy the action presented by Land Rover Genuine Parts. South Africa's off-road racing fraternity converged on the Western Transvaal in the middle of March for the Land Rover Barberspan 1000. The race made history this year as the first round of the newly instituted South African Cross-Country Rally Championship. The Cross-Country Rally Championship brings this country into line with international trends and is designed to win South Africa a place on the World Championship calendar. Political upheaval in Bophuthatswana forced the organisers, the Barberspan Off-Road Motor Club, into a late change of route. Back at the start, the big contingent of bikers was preparing to get underway 2.5 hours after the cars. Lesotho star Patrick Andrews drew the #1 starting berth, but would have preferred to see someone else lead away the pack.
I actually don't like starting first at all. I like somebody to set the pace for me in front. I'm just going to wait for Alfie to come past, and then I'll see if I can stick to their pace.
After a win in the Honeylube Sun City 400, Springbok and defending champion Alfie Cox was the outright favourite to win the motorcycle category.
Barberspan is a hell of a lot faster race than what Sun City is. So, you know, we've got people like Yuri Human on a 500, Patrick Andrews, and he's also one that can do very well. Willie Ireland, he's itching for a win. I know, I've just heard along the camps. And I always seem like the man to beat, and it's a little bit pressure on me, but I'm just going to go and ride the best race I can.
Also among the favourites in the motorcycle section was the enigmatic Willie Ireland. Most experts expected a real scrap to develop between Cox and Ireland. Pre-race favourite among the small capacity 200 class machines was Winston Yamaha star Richard Manning. With the motorcycles now also in their stride, it came as no surprise to see Alfie Cox first on the road in the Pro Action KTM. Not far behind the Natal Springbok came Willie Ireland on the SKF Dalmas diesel Suzuki. Cox and Ireland had moved ahead of Patrick Andrews on the Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki, with Andrews content to let the forerunners set the pace. Fourth on the road was the first of the Winston Yamaha riders, Daryl Curtis. Not far behind Curtis was the 500 class leader Yuri Human on the big Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki. Human was being chased by Chris Dodd on the second Winston Yamaha, with Tom Claassen going well and holding down second place in the 500 class on the privately entered Kawasaki. The pace in the 200 class was being set by Alex Vowles on the Antilex Dairy Kawasaki, with Richard Manning and Graham McLaughlin doing the chasing. While the cars were ploughing through the muddy sections, it was dry and dusty where the leaders in the motorcycle section were concerned. Alfie Cox was still first on the road on the Pro Action KTM, with Willie Ireland second on the SKF Dalmas diesel Suzuki. The unfortunate Ireland was cruising slowly along, and a sore shoulder, the product of an encounter with a fence, was soon to see him join the list of retirements. Using to good effect the greater power of the big Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki 500, Yuri Human was on his way to a fast time. Human had a comfortable lead in the 500 class and had moved ahead of teammate Patrick Andrews, who was fourth on the road and third in the 250 class. The 200 class had a new leader in Richard Manning on the Winston Yamaha. Manning had caught up with teammate Daryl Curtis on the 250 class machine. On the bike side, there was drama unfolding. Yuri Human had moved into the lead on the Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki when overnight leader Alfie Cox picked up an early puncture. Cox's misfortunes were compounded when he picked up another puncture on the run into the service stop. With Cox forced to slow right down, Richard Manning took advantage to close up on the Pro Action KTM superstar in third place on the Winston Yamaha. The first and only rider ever to win a national championship event on a 200 class machine, Manning was now poised to repeat the feat. Behind him, teammate Daryl Curtis was also in trouble with a flat tyre as he limped towards the service area. The race had suddenly come alive. Chris Dodd was now up to fifth on another Winston Yamaha after a consistent ride. Possible problems were also looming for Dodd because right on his heels he had Alex Vowles on the Antilex Dairy Kawasaki. With the action hotting up, there was also problems for Vowles with Graham McLaughlin on the Lesotho Office Equipment Kawa, also within striking distance. The field had started to close up and Hein van der Walt found himself in the top 10. There was plenty more drama in the service area. Yuri Human's motor was on the verge of seizing. The unfortunate Human could only look on in despair and frustration as the Lesotho Office Equipment team set about replacing the Kawasaki's radiators. While work was being carried out on Human's bike, Cox arrived on the scene with his pit crew forced into changing the rear wheel on the Pro Action KTM. All the while, precious minutes were ticking away.
Hold the bike. Push it down, push it down.
It was white-knuckle time for Human, Cox and their service crews. While they worked frantically on their respective machines, Richard Manning pulled into the service area. Damaged engine parts told a sad tale where the unfortunate Human was concerned. Human's expression told its own story as Manning, with a fresh load of fuel, left the pits with the Winston Yamaha now in the lead. Great work by Cox's crew saw the little Springbok set off only seconds after Manning, but the excitement was not over yet. Daryl Curtis also needed a tyre change, and this time it was the Winston Yamaha team that had to spring into frantic action. More good work saw Curtis take off after Cox, with Human still in the service area. The whole complexion of the race had taken a sudden turn. Like winner Richard Manning, there was another slice of South African motorsport history. It was only the second time a national championship event had been won on a 200 class machine.
When I knew I was in front, I just gave it a full go and thought maybe if the guys were going to catch me, I'd make them work for it.